Hi, and welcome to another training video from XMPRO. Today we will be looking at how to use the lookup component. As a prerequisite, you should have already gone through the video on how to create and use data sources. If not, then I recommend doing that first. The lookup component can be found in the basic blocks section. You must give the lookup a data source. This can be static items or a dynamic data source. If you choose static items, you can add items in the grid here. And those will show up in the lookup. Or you can give it a dynamic data source from the page data sources. If you give it a dynamic data source, you must go into data and then select the display, value, and group by expressions. Group by is optional, so I won't set it for now. If you set group by, it will group the options by the group by expression. So if I don't select a group by expression, then it'll show all the items just like this. And if I do select a group by expression, then it will group them. There are some appearance properties to play with. Visible is self-explanatory. This can be bound to a parent data source. Styling mode, if you select outlined, it will create an outline around your control. Underlined will create a line underneath the control. And filled, as you can see, will give it a gray background. Placeholder will appear before you enter a value. Dropdown title will give the dropdown of the lookup a title at the top. Tooltip will show when you hover over it. If you check show clear button, then if it has a value, it will have a button in the dropdown that says clear. And if you click that clear button, it will clear the value. In the behavior section, we have read only. If this is checked, then you won't be able to enter a value into the control, and it will appear as if it was read only with a dotted border around it. Disabled is again self-explanatory. If you check it, if you set it to true, then the control will be disabled and grayed out, and you also will not be able to enter a value. And enable search enables the search bar in the dropdown. So we can see there's the placeholder, please select a task. If I hover over it, then we get the tooltip. We've got the title and the search bar and the clear button. The value can be bounded to a parameter or a variable or from a parent data source. So for instance, if I add a field set in here, I give the field set a data source, task progress. I only need 2 rows, so I'm going to delete this one. We've got task and progress, and we're going to put the lookup in task. We're going to put a slider for progress. I'll just set up the range slider as this isn't part of the video. And then for the lookup value, we can bind it to task of the task progress and then save. So now we will have 1 field set per row of the parent data source, which has 2 tasks. The progress for task create a game plan is 0, and the progress for the task research the topic is 10. So we can change this task to do the needful and change it to 44% done. And if we save this, then we'll change that in the database. And we also have validation. More detail can be found in the validation video. This has been how to use the lookup control.